I'm here, and I feel like I have a lot to catch up of things I want to show you. More concepts in this book, Pi in the English Alphabet, Volume 1 by Marty Leeds. Oh, I think I wrote his name down wrong somewhere. I had done some of my own research on this Menorah code, and I just did a video about the Menorah code. I wrote it this way because for some reason, if I draw it this way, it helps me try to memorize this. And I've almost got it memorized. And I'll show you my memories cues in case you want to try this on your own. The other one I just memorized just by doing it so many times. Well, this one, the top of, if you make a pyramid where the top is the 7, the first A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, L, N, oh, no, to G is normal. Then here, the H and the I are going down. Well, first of all, I want to point out that the H and the I and the U and the V are, these are both pretty important concepts. The H and the I, I'm out in front of my house, so it's kind of noisy, is Hawaii, and this is also the Greek pi that I've been talking about. And in the simple gematria, this equals 17. Well, in this gematria, this I'm going to call Menorah gematria, it's a 6-5. Well, this is a ratio, and I'm holding my phone with the wrong hand, so I can't show you. But 6/5 times phi squared approximates pi. So this is another way to remember this. But also, this is just sorry about my nail. Okay, so this is another way to remember this. The structure of it, when you see these, that the HI is over the UV and it's a 6-5. UV, ultraviolet radiation, is just outside of our visible range, and I'm sure there are a lot of metaphysic and esoteric ties there too, and probably has to do with pi. I haven't really discovered that yet, though. Well, so the center, you could say, is the German word, is Gott. You could remember that because G is 7, and GD in our language is 74, and that's July 4th, and that's like all ties into Gott. I don't know, maybe they made this, maybe this was a German construction. Kind of makes sense because it's a menorah. Well, then the next H is HU, so I put that as a human, and I remembered that humans are of the field. 6. Fish, I'm not saying this is, something factual. I'm just saying this is how I'm remembering it, and it could be that they hardly ever anything happens by accident, so it's possible they thought of this. So fish is another type of, so that what they could be saying is that right below God is fish and humans. And if you remember, if you studied the Dogon, the Dogon, they worship gods that came out of the ocean that were fish. So I feel like we have a lot more to learn about. This is where the Vatican got their fish hats. I think that's where they got them. The fish hats look just the same as they do in the Anunnaki times. Well then, okay, so we have ER and an IV, which are both 5. So that kind of goes with the bum 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 code. That's how I remember the 5-5, and I noticed that it seems like that's holding true. So when you see these words, these letters in a word, you can try to remember them on this pyramid. Then we have An, goes with MZ. So it is a little bit like a maze for the 1, but it also has an N in it. BO, and a lie is number 2. 3, I think I was thinking cop, and 4, I think I was thinking Dairy Queen. I didn't really make a really nice way to remember that, but I just wanted to start with that, just in case you wanted to be able to geometrically decode a word 2 ways, because I have found some bridges here. One of them that I found is that quite a few central words, like uni, which is 1, adds up in the Menorah I usually like to have a code here for you so that you know what I'm talking about. This is my left hand. So I'm going to try to have this little sign next to this so that you'll know which decode I'm talking about. This is the Menorah decode. So uni is 12 in the Menorah. Also, I is 12. And there's some more 12s that I found on other pages. But this is one of the pi numbers from simple gematria, and I didn't think it was a coincidence that quite a few words having to do with this type of aspect, like divine and master, are also 25. So I wanted to show that to you. This word, pi, the P is actually a 3, and the I is part of IV, which is a 5. Sorry for the camera. Hope you're not liable to get sick from watching the camera move. Sometimes I'm like that. I have to close my eyes if they swing the camera too much. Well, this equals 35, which in the simple gematria equals I. So I feel like these two gematrias are made to work from each other. Also, revel, as in revolution, which would be the turning. So this would mean I guess it would, I haven't actually looked this up in etymology, but this would be the again and again, I think, turning, which of course is a circle having to do with pi. So that makes sense that it would have a pi number. However, this is the Menorah gematria, not the simple. So I wanted to show you this. Okay, also, let's say show you everything on this page. Also, it reduces to an 8. This one, idea, I thought was interesting because it's a 9-6. And when you get an idea, it's almost as if it comes from above down to you. And this is the symbolism of this. An I. This would, if just the letter hieroglyphs of this would be the ego. If you draw a little dot on top of it, this is the pineal gland and the spine, right? This is the ego and the dream. And this is basically the format of the dream, the dome, the 4 corners of the earth, that's the 4. So that added together is the 9. And then Ea, well, of course, it's the all-seeing eye, the star of Ra at the top of the all-seeing eye, and the E is the trident that opens. Well, actually, okay, so the all-seeing eye, I actually think is the pineal gland, and then the E is the pentacle, or the symbolizing the star of Ra. And the reason why, I don't know if I've said this in a few videos, it might have been a while. I used to talk about this a lot in the first videos. The reason why I equate pentacles with the star of Ra is because if you look at Wayne Herschel with hiddenrecords.com, if you look at his work, he has found multiple star maps having that are pyramid maps all over the world. And what he's found is that the pyramids, first of all, there is an Orion set, like the Great Pyramid shows Orion, and that usually points to a set of 7 pyramids or 7 hills in other places, and that would symbolize the Pleiades, which is the top right star of the Trinity of stars of the upper chalice. And then the Pleiades, as far as ancient Egypt goes, what they did is they put the 7 stars of the Pleiades into the leg of the Taurus, and then they pointed the leg of the Taurus at the star of Ra. I have never seen the star of Ra myself, but looking at all these star maps and how they put them all over the world, I think that they might have done that because this star might be hard to see. I'm not sure. I haven't seen it myself. I'm just speculating. They put a lot of work into making these maps. There's so many maps. Also, Wayne Herschel has a book, a really nice book that you can get on Amazon. Hopefully I'll remember to put it in here, but go to Amazon. You could put in Hidden Records or maybe half.com. I think it's around $20, a lot of color. And this is a very enjoyable book. And if you are stumped for Christmas and you want to get somebody a present that has to do with thinking so that you can have a conversation with them later, that might be the present. So I'm just selling those books. I love that book. I love all these books. I hope you guys, this is an expensive book. of course, I'm not getting, these people aren't giving me anything, but I am a book lover. I like to write in my books. I can't sell them anymore, but they become my friends. And anyway, I hope you like books too, because it seems like I talk a lot about books. Well, anyway, that is why I equate the Star of Ra with the pentacle, because, for example, in England, or in Europe, you have this line that I found. If you go and see my video called the Philae line, probably some insiders found this line too, but I might be the first commenter to find it. And this line has the first temple of Isis, Lupercalia, CERN, the solar man in Paris, goes right through his body, right through his head, and it goes to Stonehenge. And right next to Stonehenge, and this isn't in the book Hidden Records because Wayne discovered this later, but he has it on his website, right next to Stonehenge, there are 7 little hills, little ancient mounds, and that's another verification of the Pleiades pointing to the Star of Ra. Well, the Stonehenge geometry is pentacle shaped, and it has a lot to do with Vitruvian man. So that is why I do keep equating the E, which is the 5, with the Star of Ra. Now, if you in the ancient texts, Sumerian texts, and also other cultures, again and again, it shows that if you point a trident at the Star of Ra, or it shows the gods pointing a trident at the Star of Ra, and then it opens. And when it opens, it looks like a Vesica Pisces, but without the outer circles. Okay, so that's that. But to me, when I was doing this Menorah gematria, I thought this was amazing because that's exactly what an idea is. It comes from the 9 to the 6. And this, in simple gematria, this would be the 7/15, which would be July 17th. So that was the start of Jade Helm, and I think they were building on that symbolism when they started that, like as if it was a movement of God, or like a good idea, or some kind of divine, people of course are skeptical. They didn't really seem to achieve that with the free thinkers, but that would be the underlying type of symbolism that they were going for. The 196th day is 7/15. 7/15 is also the G and the O of God. So I thought that was amazing. Plus, if you add it all up together, it adds up to 15, which is of the field. So I thought that was pretty cool. All right. Here, this author, this is a chapter called The 72 Names of God, which is really great. And I actually would like to read this to you. I don't want to just read you this whole book because it's not fair to the author. You should buy it. But I would like to bring you pieces of it, just parts that are relevant for the decoding journey that we're on. I've talked a lot about the number 72, and this author finds that in the Menorah gematria, gold, silver, bronze, and iron all add up to 72. And also Philosopher's Stone adds up to 72. So, also I wanted to show you that Phi in the Menorah gematria is the days of the year. So, that's another thing. When you look at this, I don't know if that's actually helpful, but P, H, and I is 365. I think they put a lot of work into this. So, you know how I talk about the number 22 and Ham and Buckingham Palace? Very interesting. It seems like this is a confirmation that in this gematria, it's low. That's the lowest of the slaves. So I think that's a confirmation. Over here, TO equals 35 in the regular simple gematria, but it equals a 9. And it also equals, it also equals a 72. And we know that the eye, the all-seeing eye, is so central to their symbolism. So the eye would have the gold, silver, bronze, and iron all in it, of course. And I just think that's really amazing that is a 72, and then it also adds to a 9. So in this word, you can see there's like a triplet. I mean, just the word two, there's like a triplet. I don't know if you can see it. Okay, there's the 72, which is this very sacred number. They did a whole chapter just on 72 here. It is the 9, it is the 11, and it is, so it's the 911, the 711, the 72, and the I, all in one. And you think about using the word two when you speak. And it's hard to actually articulate what is that word. How would you sum up all the usages of that word? But I don't know. I don't think there's words for how you sum up the usages of that word. But you can see that it's extremely central, very symbolic, and has all these ratios in it. Okay, yeah. Let's just look at man real quick. It's the 111, and this is, I think that somebody left a comment for me that this was Queen Elizabeth, this number is associated with Queen Elizabeth II, and I think I have verified that myself, but I can't remember. I did a whole thing in my notes about Princess Diana and the new children that had been born and everybody's birthday, and anyway, those numbers are now like all friends, and they don't, I don't remember which are which, but apparently this is associated to be a divine number. And it is, of course, the Trinity. So, here, okay, so we have to, let's see. Oh, yes, I wanted to show you this. This is Hawaii, or pi, as it is in the simple gematria. It adds to 17. In this gematria, it's a 6 and a 5, and I showed you this. Did I show you this a second ago? I think I did. Sounds familiar. Where I don't know. I can't remember where I showed you this. That this is the 6-5 ratio. I think I did. Okay, I think I showed you that. But also wanted to show you that in the simple gematria, it adds to 17, which is a Q, and that is a 4. So this is a countdown: 6, 5, 4. And I think that's pretty cool. Here I noticed I was trying to discover what their thread was here with 8, because we see 8 a lot. I don't know why I reduced that to 8. I have to think about this. Oh wait, P. Oh, yeah. Okay. So in the Menorah gematria, which I didn't put the marking here, the P is a 3 and the I is a 5, so that is a 3/8. No, I wrote it wrong. So the I is a 5, so this is a 35, so that's the I. Did I already talk about this? I am sorry, you guys, I can't remember. Oh yeah, I think I did, because I wrote it right here. So it equals a 35, which equals 8. So I just wrote it wrong here. I just wrote 38 instead of 35. I'll have to change that. But right here, I was trying to get the idea of what are they trying to say by 8. And it does also match fact and 1. So just to try to familiarize yourself, because I'm going to start cross-referencing with this. Oh, also evil. Also in the Menorah gematria equals 17. Which is different, a little bit different than HI in the simple gematria equals 17. But it does reduce to the 8. And so that equals fact. All right, I think I showed you that. All right, so I wanted to show you that, and then stay tuned, because I talked about in the Simpson 816 video, I talked about the divine numbers of the Argyle shirt, which Cecil was wearing, and we've seen Cecil the lion recently. I don't know if he has any Argyle associated with him, but lions are basically sacred and symbolic to royal houses. So I'm going to bring you another Back to the Books from this book about the Argyle pattern, and I think you're going to like it, so stay tuned for that. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.